Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts, the podcast that won't stay in the grave no matter how hard you try. I'm your spirited host, Jennifer, a professional medium and a collector of chilling ghost stories. Tonight, I'm happy to celebrate with you, dear listener. This is the podcast's 50th episode. And to make this episode frightfully festive, not only do I have the creepiest ghost stories I could find, but I also have a ghoulish giveaway to tell you about later in the episode. I also have a special guest for tonight's in-studio spirit reading. Thank you so much for being here with me in the candlelight. Now, let's scare up some ghosts. After breaking up with my boyfriend, I moved out and moved in with a good friend. She lived in a duplex, half of which was condemned and completely boarded up. One night, while we were attempting to go to sleep, I asked her if she would mind turning off the radio. She had this annoying habit of sleeping with it on. She said she slept with it on for a reason: that someone or something walked up and down the stairs all night on the other half of the duplex, every night, and she couldn't sleep. Again, no one lived on that side of the duplex. I didn't believe her. I asked her to turn it off. But sure enough, you could hear it perfectly through the wall, creaking with every step. I was pretty scared. A strange person walking up and down the stairs all night didn't sound too safe to me. But she said that was all he did, and to ignore it. I did, for a few nights. We listened every night to see if it was happening again, and every night around 9 p.m. it would start. Then one night we were watching TV, and it started banging on the wall as it walked up and down the stairs. We were terrified and called the police, who did come to the house. It had stopped immediately, of course, and they said there was no way anyone could be getting in and out of that side of the house. We did have a closet door that led to the other side, but it was boarded up as well. And after checking that, the police said there was no way. But after that night, the walking continued. My grandmother died about 20 years ago. About 2 weeks after she passed away, I was hanging out over at my parents' place, and my mom got a phone call. No number, no unknown number, just a blank caller ID. She answered the phone, got quiet, hung up, and went to her room without saying anything. When I finally got her to talk about it, she said it was her mother, saying she was trapped and to please come get her because they wouldn't let her leave, over and over again. And then the phone disconnected. I asked her about it a few years ago, and she denied that it happened for a bit, and then admitted that it had happened 2 more times that year, and then stopped. But she didn't want to discuss it anymore. I was sitting in our office room home alone when I was 19. I was typing a paper for one of my college classes. The office room used to be my sister's room before she moved out, so a lot of her decorations were still in there. She had a photo of a mountain range, an oval-shaped mirror, and 3 different wall hangings that read faith, hope, and love. While working on my paper, suddenly I got the chills. The room turned freezing cold. And then suddenly, everything in the room hanging on the walls fell off. This really freaked me out. But then it got worse. I got up and walked out of the room to find that everything hanging on the walls of my house had fallen. All the pictures in the living room and the other rooms, all the trophies in my room from Little League sports, and even a stand that held candles. I wasn't sure what to do. I picked up all the stuff and hung it back up, which actually took me almost an hour. Then I drove to campus to finish my paper. I never told my parents what happened. Are you enjoying your ghostly visit? If so, please follow, like, comment, and share. The ghosts may be talkative, but they are lousy at marketing, so every click helps. Tell your friends, and please leave a kind review so that others might join us. The spirits and I thank you. Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. My guest this evening is Brandon from the Southern Gothic Podcast. Welcome to the show, Brandon. How are you? Welcome to your reading. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer. I'm excited. Yeah.
I'm excited too. If you're familiar with how I work, I've got my notes here. My notes and impressions. Normally I'll go through these and then we'll just build from there and see what comes up. Well, they want to say this first. Someone is joking that you are surrounded by women. Is that true in your life? A lot of females in your life?
Yes. My daughters and work my business partner's my sister and I have 2 daughters. So it's nothing but women for sure. Yeah.
There are worse things. Okay. First person coming in for me feels like grandmother energy. And the way she's presenting herself is she's a lady, but in her own way. She was kind of the holder of the family's emotions. And when she passed, there obviously any loss is a loss, but when she passed, it was kind of like she was almost a linchpin of the family.
Sure.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. We had kind of the matriarch of the family pass away when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's her. She is showing me, I'm seeing a dock and water, and I'm hearing seagulls.
Mm-hmm. She was a pretty avid fisher. Yeah, that was the pastime for sure.
It feels like she would like to do everything for herself. Mm-hmm. Like she was in charge of that. Mm-hmm. Does that describe her well?
I mean, I'd say that's the tone of our family, which maybe that's her fault then.
Well, she was the matriarch, right?
Yeah, that describes my mother, her daughter as well, that do everything for yourself to almost to the detriment of everyone else around you. So, I mean, that's certainly...
It's like, I'm going to do this. I am standing on my own 2 feet. I'm going to get this done. But also not in a aloof, I'm an island kind of way. It's more like, no, let me handle it. And helping others and helping the family. Family is a big deal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she's the one that was the babysitter for all the grandkids and that grandmother that,
Mm-hmm.
stayed home and, I guess she was a housewife her whole life. And,
Mm-hmm.
so I was the oldest of all the cousins and kind of her and she was, just the babysitter all, summers were always all of us at her house type person. So, yeah. Yeah.
Was she the type of person who, because like she's telling me like adventure,
Mm-hmm.
like things going on,
Mm-hmm.
always had something for you to do kind of thing.
Yeah, it was definitely a go. Well, I mean, yeah, there's ironically, I mean, there's something she used to tell us that, bothers me as an adult now, knowing that this was awful advice in retrospect, but she always said she'd sleep when she died. And, and I think a lot of us are upset with her now because of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she just wanted to soak up every minute. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just, she had that energy and was, the word Spitfire is coming to mind with
Sure.
her.
Yeah. Yeah. That would definitely be a good describer there. For sure.
Okay.
Definitely a lot of attitude. Yeah. Yeah.
Was this your mom's mom?
It was, yeah. And she had 3 daughters as well. So, I mean, talk about surrounded by women.
Oh yeah, there you go. More women. Is your mom a little bit of a overthinker?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's again, I mean, yeah, it's that kind of do everything for yourself, anxious,
Yeah. I
Sure.
think she wants to convey this to your mom. You've done your worrying. Now get to the enjoying. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Does that feel like something that your grandmother might have said? Because she's
right.
She's like, balance out that worry or the thinking with and the doing with the enjoying.
Right. I don't know if it's something she would have said, but it's certainly something my mom needs to hear.
Okay. Well, well, if you want to tell her that her mom had that message for her,
I will. Yeah.
Because like she's like, oh, just if I can convey from my perspective now, just the dive in and enjoy, the thinking. You've done the thinking, just immerse yourself and enjoy what you have and enjoy the connections you have and the experiences. Your grandmother seems to really be emphasizing just experiencing, and that it doesn't have to be something big. It could be dinner. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just being aware that this is happening right now and to appreciate it and like live in the moment can really help negate being up in your head and thinking about things a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think she was saying that a little bit about you too. Don't let your brain talk your heart out of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, yeah, family problem, right? I mean, you learn from the people who raised you, right? Yeah.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah. So it's funny that has come up twice. Did she ever take you to baseball games?
Well, she was a sports person, so I don't know if baseball game. Took me to football games as a kid.
Football. Okay.
She was a tennis player, so I spent a lot of time watching her play tennis as a child. She would drag me to her tennis matches. The little old ladies would play tennis at the country club, and I say little old ladies. Now I'm doing the math. I'm not far off, am I? Yeah.
Let me see. This came in as imagery. I was being shown some tall grass, hot summer weather. I'm hearing the bugs. Mm-hmm. There's some trees, but I wouldn't consider this a forest. Like there's trees in the background, but there's definitely one in the foreground. And some wispy, like dandelion fluff or cottonwood, floating by. Older gentleman, definitely a gentleman, but a quiet type of personality. Mm-hmm. I see him kind of sitting there enjoying the day, and he just kind of nods at me, you know. I know that's really kind of vague and not a lot of detail, but does that sound like someone connected to you in any way?
I don't have a lot of, maybe continuing with that theme of women. I don't have a lot of men that I really have connected with that, have passed, much less quiet men. Because I did not know my grandfather on the other side. He passed away when my father was fairly young. So other than stories about him, I didn't know him.
I don't know what he did for a living, but would have another great analytical thinker, someone who could have been like an architect or an engineer, someone who could really understand how things worked.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what he did. I don't know exactly. It was something engineer-wise. I can't remember exactly. Something
It'd be interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting for you to find out, because that's definitely what he's showing me. It's almost like blueprints type of thing.
That sounds like similar, probably, or maps maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, schematics.
Yeah, yeah.
And who uses the word schematics? So yeah, that would be interesting to see if that clicks and connects. Yeah, definitely.
And I had an uncle that lived a very long life, a great uncle, and but he was a tremendously boisterous personality. And I cannot imagine him stop talking even today. He's probably talking in his grave right now, making jokes. So,
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Your uncle. Wow. I wish I could. It's coming through as confidence. Like, I wish I could bottle that and keep that with me, that I can do anything.
Sure.
Type of, I'm going to be able to, that's how your uncle is coming through for me, as no problem. Let's do it, or, I need to do this, do that. No hesitation there at all.
Sure.
Does that sound like him?
Yeah. He was a doctor. So he had that, all the swagger that came with it for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there other people in your family who are in the medical profession? It seems like a strong theme there.
Well, my mother, she's still with us though. She worked for a medical center for a long time, that was her career basically, working in labs.
I do have some personal messages for you. You know what I'm seeing for you? I'm seeing this forward movement. I would not be surprised if you had your eye on going further with something, or moving on to like taking on something else. But what I wrote down for you is they see you in a space of contentment with your family and your social circles, and encouraging you to keep learning to the point of even like divine wisdom. I don't know if you're interested in exploring more of just spirituality or letting your heart guide you in things, but that's being encouraged. And also seeing you transition into more of a teacher mentor role for others at that stage of your life. And finally, they want to say, encouraging you to have clarity and breakthroughs and new ideas and success.
Yeah.
What do you think of those words?
That would be awful nice. Breakthroughs,
Breakthroughs.
But definitely, the spiritual life is certainly, something that's come older or come, later in life.
Yeah.
And, contentment is certainly a place where I am right now with, my children and career and everything. So, it's, it's certainly, it resonates with where I'm at today for sure. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again so much. And for those listening, I would love for you to talk about your dark history, spooky story podcast that you have, Southern Gothic.
Yeah.
Want to say a few words about that?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that I've been doing, that I hope for more breakthroughs as well. Right. I have a podcast called Southern Gothic, and I explore kind of old ghost stories and old dark history, and not in the way that you do, Jennifer, of individual sharing stories, but rather I like to go and find those old stories that kind of like your mama told you when you were growing up, and kind of look them up and talk a little bit about the history behind them and things like that. And so the podcast is called Southern Gothic, and I narrate that. It's a narrative show, and we do a lot of sound design and fun stuff with it, and kind of try and take you through the swamp of all these old Southern ghost stories and old historic true crime. So y'all can you can of course listen to that anywhere you're checking out this podcast as well. So yeah,
right, double feature.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Brandon, thanks again so much.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer. It's been an absolute pleasure for sure. Yeah.
Would you like a free spirit reading with me and record your reading for the podcast? Sign up for your chance to be selected by visiting italktoghosts.com/guest. And as an added bonus, if you don't want to leave your reading up to chance, I'll let you in on a secret. There's a discount offer to book a private session with me, so you can book a date and time for certain. Visit italktoghosts.com/guest for more details. I can't wait to meet you. Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. I have a message from the spirits this evening, so thank you for joining me around my seance table. Tonight I'm going to be working with two different crystals. I have an obsidian tower and a moonstone tower, and I love working with these crystals, the energy they bring in spirit communication, intuition, insight. And tonight I have a gentleman with me who worked tirelessly. He was a teacher, and when he wasn't working in the classroom, he was volunteering his time for charities or outreach groups, tirelessly, selflessly, gave so much of himself to others. And he's showing me that on occasion, when you could get him to take a break, you guys would watch movies together. Classic films, old black and whites. He really had a passion for music as well. He always had music playing. You used to tease him about how old his car was. This guy was just a really good friend of yours, and you did worry that he didn't take care of himself the way he took care of other people, that you were always telling him to turn around and put some of that energy towards himself, and it worried you a bit. It really did. His message for you this evening is, first, he wants to tease you about not keeping up with the old movie collection anymore, and that if you did watch a movie, know that it would be a great way for you to stay connected to him. I'm wondering if you're thinking about moving. There's talk of a fresh start. I do think this will be good for you. So explore that a little more if you can. And again, his message for you this evening is, you used to tease him about not taking care of himself. Now he wants to encourage you to break up your routine a little bit, get out there a little bit more. Moving could be a nice fresh start, and he just wants you to continue to love your life and wants to offer you that hug of friendship, you know? He thinks you're a great guy and wants you to be happy. Yeah. I'm going to leave you with all of his love and friendship. And if this session connects for you, please reach out because I would love to know. Thank you. Book a medium reading with me. If you have a past loved one you would like to connect with, a spirit reading can be an amazing and never spooky experience, I strive to give you specific details that align only to you and your loved ones. Curious? Visit italktoghosts.com for links to book with me. I can't wait to meet you. Welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts, with this being the podcast's 50th episode. I thought I would do a little giveaway. 3 lucky winners will receive an I Talk to Ghosts t-shirt. To enter for a chance, leave a comment on my Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube account with the hashtag giveaway. How to find those? Well, the links will be in the show notes. I'll select winners and contact them by the end of July 2023, of course. And while you're on my socials, make sure to hang around a little while too. First off, I love mingling with people, and I never know what kind of giveaway or special offer or spooky meme I might be sharing that day. But make sure to enter the giveaway, and good luck. And with that, dear listener, we've reached the end of this spooky 50th episode of I Talk to Ghosts. Thank you so much for sharing this with me tonight. And if you happen to have a ghost story of your own that you would like to share, I would love to hear it. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.